Commentator and Democratic strategist Maria Cardona and CNN senior political commentator Scott Jennings. Good Sunday to both of you. Maria, I just want to start first with you. Steve, just walking us through what's going on with Colombia right now. This is what Trump promised he was going to do. He was going to deport migrants and anyone who didn't, take them back to their original country, that he was going to punish them. And he is doing that with these 25% tariffs.
Yeah, Jessica, to me, what that demonstrates is that the only way that Donald Trump knows how to, quote, lead is by acting like a bully, which to me underscores that he's kind of insecure about it. I mean, under the Biden administration, Colombia accepted more than 475 flights of deported Colombian migrants without having to say that they were going to start a trade war, without having to threaten anything. That's real leadership. Why is it that now Donald Trump has got to resort to these kinds of threats in order to make Colombia an ally of the United States, which also has massive, important exports to the United States that are now threatened, that if those tariffs go through, it will mean that prices will go up for all of us, including flowers, on the eve of Valentine's Day. And so to me, that doesn't demonstrate anything other than incompetence. I really don't get it.
Scott, I want to know what you think. I also specifically, Maria does point out Colombia is a U.S. ally, especially in that region. What do you think of this?
Well, number one, the reason Donald Trump had to resort to these tariffs and sanctions and punishments today is because the president of Colombia refused to accept a flight of migrants. He said he wouldn't take them. Donald Trump said, we're going to enter the F around and find out portion of this conversation. And he hit him with sanctions and tariffs. And now tonight, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, says Congress is going to back him up on that. He's putting Colombia, he's putting the rest of this hemisphere on notice that you are not dealing with the same president that you were. You're dealing with someone who is taking illegal immigration seriously. Now, within an hour of making that threat, the president of Colombia said, whoa, I'll send my own plane to pick these people up. So obviously, he got their attention. I don't think there's actually going to be any tariff war between the United States and Colombia, because as long as they come get their people, I doubt Donald Trump's going to end up tariffing them, and they won't tariff us. And they'll have learned a valuable lesson that Donald Trump is taking immigration, illegal immigration, seriously. This is real leadership, but it sends a message to everybody else in the hemisphere. Do not test us. This is not Biden and Harris. This is Trump and Vance. We mean business.
And Maria, there was that New York Times polling on his immigration policies, and you have to kind of tear it out. But talking about this, let's call it the first phase. But what Rosa Flores was getting into, where Tom Homan and company have said, look, first of all, we want to go with people who have criminal records. We want to get them out of this country. There's overwhelming support from Americans for that particular piece of this. And so there's that. But then we have the second part of that I want to ask you about, too, which is Rosa went on to talk about these new quotas for ICE with 75 arrests per office per day. And then that is obviously just numbers wise going to start to spill out into other people.
Absolutely, Jessica. And this is what is so incredibly frustrating and mind-boggling about the way that the Trump administration is now handling deportation. Just a quick note on the flights. They act like there were no deportation flights under the Biden administration. And we all know that even, to the chagrin of many activists, Joe Biden deported many, many undocumented immigrants. So again, this is just for show, because Trump needs to feel like the strong man, like the bully. And it just underscores huge insecurity amongst his leadership capabilities. That's number one. Number two, on the deportations themselves in terms of criminal undocumented immigrants, Jessica, of course, everyone supports that. Everyone supports that. And that has been going on under Democratic administrations, under Republican administrations. That has been an ongoing policy of the United States of America, which is another thing that this administration kind of belies, doing this now, saying, oh my God, we're the first ones to do it. Well, no, they're not the first ones to do it. But what they are the first ones to do is to lead with cruelty, to lead with divisiveness, to lead with fear-mongering among these communities, and to put in place quotas that set those 70 arrests per day per her ICE office, Jessica, means that they very soon will be deporting grandmothers, deporting business people, deporting people who are the ones that run our Sunday markets that we love so much on the weekends. They will be deporting people that are our colleagues when we go to work. They are people that we don't know right now, are undocumented in our communities, but will be soon handcuffed and will be treated like dangerous criminals when the only thing they are doing is injecting $7 trillion of economic heft into the United States. That is not leadership. That is not a real effective deportation policy or immigration policy itself. It is something that somebody like Donald Trump, who needs to feel secure in his mandate to be the strong man, has to deal out. And it is not the way that it's going to fix this immigration issue. And it is a huge problem. The way to fix it is to sit down with common sense Republicans and Democrats to figure out how you continue to remove the criminal migrants that have come here, and to figure out how to have expanded legal pathways for the undocumented populations that have been here, injecting trillions to our economy.
Scott, I know you want to jump in there. I do want to ask you, too, while you're giving us your thoughts, can they do this? Look, the logistics of what they're trying to do are difficult. They need a lot of people, a lot of manpower, a lot of money to do this. Is it possible?
Yeah, of course it is. And, it happened under Barack Obama, actually. He deported millions upon millions of people, and I don't have any recollection of the U.S. economy collapsing. And no Republican, and I don't think most Americans, are taking seriously the argument that the U.S. economy is underpinned by violent, criminal, illegal immigrants. I mean, if our entire economy is underpinned by people who are rapists and murderers and commit other violent acts, then we got a whole other set of issues going on in the economy that we ought to talk about today. I mean, people just aren't buying that argument. So the populations that they are starting with are violent, criminal, illegal aliens. Then they also have 1.5 million people who have existing, fully adjudicated orders. And beyond that, I would just point out that if you came to this country illegally, you're already a criminal, illegal immigrant. You've already broken our laws, even if you haven't been arrested yet or charged with it. If you're here illegally, if you broke our laws, then you're going to be targeted. Now, maybe you're not going to be a top priority today because there's other more dangerous people here, but we cannot send a message that, well, some illegal immigration is okay. And that's been the problem of the last 4 years. Basically, Biden and Harris were like, just get here and it'll probably work out for you. That is no longer the communication strategy of the U.S. government. The strategy is, don't try us. Whether you're the president of Colombia or somebody who just walked across the border illegally, do not try us. It is not going to work out for you, period.
All right. Okay, we're going to put a pin in it for a second. We got to take a break, but stick with us. Scott and Maria are going to stick around as well. We'll have more conversation on the other side of this break.